Okay, next please. What I want to do now is share a little thought experiment I did. With the new presidential administration, we had everybody offering advice. Everybody suggesting what ought to be the energy policy of the nation. And so I've looked at several of them. I'm not going to tell you about what the American Nuclear Society recommends. You can guess that already. I'm not going to tell you about what the American Wind Energy Association recommends. You can guess that already. What I want to show you are what I might call some holistic efforts from different professions, the urban planners, the mechanical engineers, the Chamber of Commerce, a group of environmental organizations, the electrical engineers, the National Governors Conference, and I had to throw in T. Boone Pickens because you've all seen his commercials. And this is what it boils down to. There's a set of policy objectives for energy that you see over and over again. Just about everybody wants to keep energy affordable. Some want to try to create new jobs with energy policy. Some want us to recirculate our dollars domestically and not send the money overseas. Everybody wants us to improve national security with our energy policy. Everybody wants us to reduce environmental impacts with our energy policy. A couple are interested in the distribution, the fairness issues. A lot are interested in ensuring the adequacy and reliability of our energy supplies. And then a couple that you may not have ever heard of or thought about much before, but are hugely important. Everybody thinks we need to increase the flexibility of the energy system. If we don't know what energy sources we're relying on in the future, we ought to build flexibility in so that we can cope with whatever comes along. And then finally, there's a set of folks who are interested in eliminating the barriers to the diffusion of cool new energy technologies. And many of those are, in fact, infrastructure-related bottlenecks. So those are big picture objectives that you see across a wide range of perspectives, Chamber of Commerce types, environmental types, engineers, and so forth. Okay, next please. Now, if you look at what they actually propose in general, what you can see is that everybody says we've got to use our energy much more efficiently. That's the first thing we've got to do before we even start talking about cool new solar and wind technologies. Second, we need to start expanding the use of renewables for electricity in particular. And so once we've worked on energy efficiency, then we also need to start thinking about things like wind, solar, biomass, geothermal. There's a smaller group that's interested in particular in liquid biofuels to solve our transportation system's reliance on imported petroleum. There's a small group that says we've really got to expand the use of nuclear power. There's a small group that says we should be focusing on natural gas, substituting away from coal and oil towards natural gas. There's a few who say we ought to be sticking with coal, since we have it, and just cleaning it up a little bit. There are even a few that say we ought to be expanding domestic oil supplies. But none of those last few that I've mentioned are broadly endorsed. What is broadly endorsed is investing in our energy infrastructures. And then there are a couple of other things. There's a skilled labor shortage. The electricity sector can't hire enough good engineers. They're all retiring. And then finally, there's a lot of interest in improving the research pipeline. It's pretty empty. Okay, let's zoom in now to infrastructure proposals. Next, please. And here are a set of proposals that focus particularly on today's general topic of what do we do about energy infrastructure. A lot of the proposals say we need to upgrade our transmission system so that it can deliver renewables from far away to where we need to use the energy. An equal number say we should also upgrade our transmission system for a different reason, and that is to expand regional markets, to link the regional markets for electricity together into a continental market. And that implies a slightly different configuration of our our electric grid. There is some interest in electricity storage, not enough to my mind. It's something that not enough people understand, and so I'm glad we're going to have some discussion of that today. There is a very wide recognition that we need to upgrade our electric distribution systems, local distribution of electricity, to handle the electrification of our transportation sector. This is now a widely accepted idea, and we'll be hearing more about that from Willett. There's also wide agreement that we need to invest in smart grid technologies, and in fact, we've seen the 2007 Energy Act included some funds for that, and the current stimulus package also has something in that area. There's some interest in district energy systems like Trenton has. You all know that Trenton is the only city in New Jersey that has a district heating and cooling system that serves dozens and dozens of buildings in the downtown. We need to do that in most of our other cities. There's some interest in carbon capture and storage and building an infrastructure to allow that to happen. There's a little bit of interest in hydrogen pipelines, a little bit of interest in improving our natural gas distribution system to be able to serve transportation needs. A little bit of interest, actually a fair amount of interest in improving our liquid biofuel distribution system. Not much interest, but it does show up. We need to site liquefied natural gas terminals if we ever want to turn our natural gas industry into a global industry instead of only a continental industry. Okay, finalizing the nuclear waste repository is on some lists. Reinvesting in nuclear waste processing is on some lists. Reinvesting in mass transit is on a lot of lists. Pursuing smart growth is also on a few lists. Okay, so that's what the nation's experts are saying we ought to be focusing on. What I want to do now is just